It just becomes too messy, too hard. I don't want to do it anymore. Well, that's actually kind of the place that the Corinthian church was in this chapter. You see, we know from this letter already, and if you've been joining us over the last few chapters, that sexual immorality was a big thing. The conclusion, well, let's just stop the sex. And doesn't this change the whole tone and context of this chapter? Maybe you've been in church before and you've read and you know these verses. How different can you look at it understanding now Paul's point and the problem that was happening in the church? They got too messy. And so they just said, well, let's stop all the bad stuff. Let's just avoid it all together. Who's been in that church? I have. Who's met that Christian? Don't do all the bad stuff. I have. Who's followed that religion? Do's and don'ts. I have. But haven't we come to understand that following Jesus is so much more than just a list of do's and don'ts, but it's a relationship with Jesus. And no relationship is black and white, is it? Paul, he isn't trying to draw the line between right and wrong, black and white, because right and wrong and black and white is a trap called perfection. He says, nevertheless, each person should live as a believer in whatever situation the Lord has assigned to them. This is Paul's version of black and white. Whatever. And maybe this morning you thought that following Jesus would fix everything in your life. And I'm not here to say this morning that God can't or won't work or move or shift changes in your life. I'm just saying that I think the point that Paul is making is that the key to making the present moment count is to let God transform you right where you are. You were bought at a price. Do not become slaves of human beings. You were bought at a price. What price is Paul talking about? He's talking about Jesus on the cross. The price Paul is talking about is the stripes on his back from the whip that hit him. The price that Paul is talking about is the pierced side of Jesus. The price that Paul is talking about is the blood that would drip from his forehead as the crown of thorns was pressed into his skull. I don't want you to be frozen in perfection. I don't want you to be stuck in this black and white theology and religious living. No, instead he says, look at this. I am saying this for your own good. Not to restrict you, but that you may live in a right way, in undivided devotion to the Lord. And we get distracted by right or wrong, but distraction is the very thing that Paul is trying to address. He's trying to take us from this place of distraction to what he calls undivided devotion to the Lord. Maybe the better question, the more clarifying question, the more sobering question is, rather than asking of this situation, this choice, this decision that I have in front of me, is this right or wrong? What if we instead ask the question, does this honor God? What is the character of God revealed in this scripture? 1 Corinthians 7 reveals a God who is personal, peaceful, patient, empowering, and compassionate, not demanding perfection in our relationships, but inviting faithfulness and trust in every season.